Hello again, Year 4. So welcome to Lesson 2. Last week you guys did some amazing collage work based on Matisse, and thank you so much if you shared that with me. That was brilliant. I loved seeing your work, and don't forget, if you didn't email me your work but you did do some amazing work, then please send it to art@wisdastonacademytrust.co.uk and I'll be able to see it and respond. That would be amazing. Thank you. Now, last week I gave you a question. I asked you about one of Henri Matisse's cutouts pictures and asked if you could work out what was in the picture, because it was very abstract. We had some good suggestions. Riley Jones thought it was Matisse's own hand. Sophie May said it was a dog. Lucas said it was a tree, but actually it was a snail. Now, have a look back at that picture. That is pretty hard to decipher from the picture, but I guess that's the nature of an abstract picture. Okay, so today we're going to move on and look at another artist. You can see his name there. It is Francis Bacon. Irish-born figurative painter, known for his bold, emotionally charged and raw imagery. On October the 28th in 1909 in Dublin, the Republic of Ireland. He died on April the 28th, 1992 in Madrid, in Spain. If I used to live in Dublin, and if you go to a place called Parnell Square, you will be able to see in a gallery called the Hugh Lane Gallery, a replica of Francis Bacon's studio. It is an incredibly messy studio, but it's really interesting to look at. So if you ever get the chance to visit that in Dublin, that is a great thing to have a look at. So let's have a look at some of Francis Bacon's work, and it's portraits that he concentrated on. So let's have a look. I'm sure you've got some reactions to these pictures. So perhaps keep them in your head for now, and then we'll talk about them after. Well, I'm sure you've got some interesting reactions to those pictures. So first, let's think. What words could you use to describe his portraits? Have a think and keep those words in your head for a minute. How do you think his pictures are created? Did he paint them, or did he use some other means to create his paintings? Okay, tell your partner. Right, so I'm going to assume that you have chatted about that either at home or at school. I imagine you might have said that some of the pictures were distorted. They're kind of messed up and twisted, aren't they? We could say that they are disturbing. Perhaps they make us feel a little bit unsure of things, a bit anxious possibly when we look at those pictures. They don't look very pleasant, do they? We can tell, can't we, that it is a person's face, but it's not as a person's face normally is. So he has distorted it, he's refracted it, he's kind of twisted it up in an interesting way. He hasn't used natural colours either. So that's another figurative element, another abstract element to what he was doing. You can tell it's a face, but it's a face that conveys something. I wonder if he was trying to convey some emotions in his paintings. What emotions do you think he might have been trying to convey? Again, email that to me so I can have a look. Let's just have a look at a little bit of vocab. Let's see these words. Distorted. It means something twisted, deformed, misshapen. This can apply to images abstract things like ideas as well. So you could have a distorted idea about something, or it could be a distorted picture. If we used it in a sentence, we could say, the rain-streaked window distorted my reflection like a hall of mirrors at the fair. I don't know if you've ever been to a fair where there's lots of mirrors, fairground, and you can't see yourself properly in all the wibbly-wobbly mirrors. Sometimes when it's raining, it distorts the image because it refracts the light and makes you appear in a very streaky, strange way. It's raining heavily today as I'm filming this, so I could look out the window and probably have that reflection of my face looking very distorted. Okay, let's activate this word. If you saw a distorted face in the mirror, how would it make you feel? Why? Okay, next word. Figurative. We've used that word already and I think we understand it, but let's talk about it a bit more. It means art that has its origin in real things, but which represents them in an unusual way. So we can see in this example here on the screen that there are faces. They're sort of not represented in exactly a normal way. The shape of them has changed. The proportion of things has changed, the colours have changed, but we can still see that they are faces. So let's put this word in a sentence. The figurative nature of the portrait made Samuel appear in a fantastical, dreamlike way. I think the people in that picture definitely look like they're in a bit of a dream, don't they? Have you ever had a dream where things are a little bit crazy and not quite as they should be? You could call that figurative. Now I'm going to ask you to move around now because we're going to activate this word. How might you walk if you found yourself in a dreamlike, figurative world? If you woke up and found yourself in this crazy, unusual world, figurative world, how would you move? How would you walk? Have a go. Okay, so now we are going to create a similar distortion using a well-known face and using the method of collage. I'll show you the face in a minute. Let's have a look at a couple of examples of distortion first and decide which ones we prefer. Okay, now you might be able to recognize a couple of the people, although they are fairly distorted in this example here. This one that I'm pointing to is actually Winston Churchill, a very famous Prime Minister of England. Not sure who this person is in the middle. And this person is someone rather, should I say, infamous at the moment. That is actually Donald Trump, just about to stop being the President of America. Right, so have a look at these faces and I want you to think, which one looks more like Francis Bacon's type of distortion? Which one or two of these looks the best, perhaps? Which one is maybe not quite distorted in the same way that Francis Bacon did his? Okay, tell your partner. Now, usually, most people do love the distortion of Donald Trump. However, I think I'm going to say that that is a little bit over the top because his hair has been moved to the middle of his face, and even though that's funny and it is distorted, it's a bit too much. We're going for something which is dreamlike and figurative, but still a little bit more like reality. Because if we look back at Francis Bacon's pictures, it's actually paintings, we forgot to say how he did them, they are a bit more realistic than the one there of Donald Trump. Okay, so when we're going to distort our images, we need to just make them a tiny bit more realistic. Now, in order to do this, you need a photograph. It could be a photograph you've printed off if you're at home of somebody. It could be a picture out of a magazine. It could be a picture of a family member. But if you're in school, we are going to do it of Mr. Burke. Now, Mr. Burke loves people doing pictures of him. That's a little hint there. If you ever want to do a picture of a teacher, do it of Mr. Burke. He loves seeing images of himself. And in fact, I've done pictures of Mr. Burke a lot of times, but I know that he loves it. I'm not sure he'll like this one though, because even though Mr. Burke looks extremely handsome in the photograph that we're using, he won't look like that at the end. So I'm not quite sure what he'll think of these pictures. Okay, let's see how we do this.